Yo, yo. I don't know how to get the chat to stay up on this thing. What's up, Agnetha? Oh. Yeah, man, for some reason it doesn't, man, yeah, I don't be going live from my phone, so this is, yeah, I definitely don't like it. All right. Now I got it up on my computer. This is Monkey Shoulder whiskey. Yeah, definitely, Agatha. It's been a long, busy week. So yeah, we made it to Friday. Where you located at, Agatha? British Columbia. It's probably cold there, yeah. I'm just I'm just updating it. I haven't updated my website in, man, like 4 or 5 years. Literally haven't updated it. Haven't updated my images, nothing. Um, so I've been working on this update for a year, probably longer than a year. I just been busy and haven't had time. So I'm trying to get it done before the year is over. But it just, it takes time. That's a good analogy. Yeah, that's definitely what it's like. Yeah, I mean, I've redesigned the whole thing. I use Squarespace, but I redesigned the whole thing, so I'm excited to launch it. But it just definitely takes some time to get it just right. What's the weather like in Canada. It's probably snowing already. This would probably be the most pointless live if anybody watches this after it's live. I'm just going live because I'm here. What up, Chris? Appreciate it, man. You know, I'm trying to get into doing these reels and stuff. I'm just not a big social media guy, which is why my social media, I don't have anything on it, because I struggle with social media and posting content and all that kind of stuff. So I've been trying to do more, and it's fun to, like, that reel was fun to make, but it's just, you know, you be busy with a lot of other stuff, like it's just hard to focus on social media. But you know, as a photographer, I know I definitely should be more on social media, so I'm trying. I've been like telling myself I'm gonna start a TikTok account, and I just haven't. I struggle to even saying TikTok as a grown man. I struggle. Yeah, people be hating on the Canon, man. So I have to let them know. Canon's legit. Chris, where you located at? Oh, what's up? Man, let me see if I can say that name right. Is it just Caesar and just spelled different? If it's not Caesar, I apologize. That's what I'm thinking. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong, spell it out for me. Beautiful. What part of Canada? I've been wanting to get up to Canada. I just haven't made. Man, are the borders open in Canada yet? Right now, can U.S. citizens get into Canada at the moment? I know the borders was closed for a while there. Well, that's good. Well, I don't know. Do you Canadians, do you like U.S. citizens coming into your country, or are we not respectful? Because I know how some Americans can be. Chris, where are you located at, brother? That's a good point, Agnetha. Very good point. Oh, that's funny, Jay. Hey, I'm an avid Easy Lock user. Like I like the brand, and I know some people feel like um, it's cheap and it falls apart, it doesn't last. And that may be true, but for the price point and for what you get, I'm fine having to buy one every couple years. I mean, I've had all these for a long time. I take care of my stuff. Well, not for a long time. I bought them during the pandemic, like right when I got locked in, and I just wanted to buy something. I bought way too many of them, but I think for the price, man, and what you get, the price point, you get the grid, you get the diffusers, you get the deflector plate. For the price, I'm fine with it falling apart in a year or two. Like that's fine. That's $70 versus 300 and something dollars plus extra to get the grid and the diffuser and the mount. It's like I'll take glow all day, man. Where you located at, Jay? Man, Canada heavy in here. I like it though. I definitely want to make it up to Canada. I've heard Nova Scotia is really nice. I've never I've only been to Windsor, which doesn't count in my opinion. Like Windsor, it's just right on the other side of the river in Detroit. So I feel like that don't really count. So I still say I've never been to Canada. I definitely want to make it up there though. I want to make it to Vancouver, and I heard Nova Scotia was cool. I don't mind the cold season. I mean, I know I'm in LA, but I grew up in the Midwest, so I don't mind the cold. Yeah, no hockey game. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's a different time for my chill and chat today. I had to help my brother with some stuff earlier, so I couldn't go live at my usual time. Didn't get my video out on Thursday because I didn't have time. So this week was a bust. Next week's gonna be, man. I don't even know if I'm gonna put out any videos next week. I'm trying to put out at least once a week, but I don't be wanting to just put out content just to be putting out content. I try to make my videos be meaningful and purposeful and be worth something. So other size formats, like medium format, that sort of thing. I've never used medium format. Um, so I mean, most of my cameras are full frame. I've done crop. I really want to. I really want to pick up one of those Fuji medium format cameras, but I just I don't want to buy into another brand and then have to buy the camera and then lenses and all that. But if I had to start over, like I love my Canon stuff, but I don't know, there's something about like those Fuji cameras. I've only shot with them once, so I don't know if I would be able to be a Fuji shooter. But I like the look of their cameras. Like their cameras look cool. So if I had to start over, I would look into just getting the whole Fuji kit. I know some people think you have to have full frame. I don't believe that. I mean, at least not in modern cameras. You know, maybe 15 years ago that made a difference, but I don't think it makes a difference anymore. I mean, there's a difference. There's a difference, but yeah, I get they are. So like the 110 is like a 90 or 80 something like that. So it's pretty much the reverse of the crop, the micro four, or yeah, the reverse of like the crop and the micro four third, where those are longer. But yeah, I think that's why like the depth of field, like you have more of a shallower depth of field with the medium format. Like it'd be cool to have like one of those 100 megapixel cameras. I definitely would want to get my hands on one of those, but what's up, Hassan? I'm just chilling, man. I'm not really talking about nothing today. I'm just talking to whoever comes in here while I'm on the computer. Yeah, the original GSX 100 I think was 10 grand, but they got the GFX 100S or something like that. That's like 6, which is better. Then they got that GS50. I don't know how much that one is though. I just don't have any desire to have multiple camera brands because I don't want to have to buy lenses that I could only use on certain cameras. That's really why I haven't bought any RF glass, because I still use DSLRs. So I really just, it's like I buy the RF glass, I could only use it on my mirrorless bodies. I just haven't really felt like doing that. Hassan, I use Squarespace. I really like Squarespace. Um, it's easy and it's clean. And I mean, I don't need, like, I know some people use Wix. Uh, I just always went to Squarespace. Like when I first did my website a long time ago, I just went with Squarespace, and I just liked the ease of it, like to keep it simple, because I knew I wasn't gonna have time to be investing a lot of time into building a website. So Squarespace just worked. And then, I mean, for the, their templates are cool, and then for the price, it was nice. It's definitely easy updating it and everything. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell by how long I've been working on doing this website refresh. I've been working on it since 2020. What's up, Vivi? Are you in California right now, or are you traveling? You posting all these pictures from all these places. Is this old stuff, or you traveling right now? Hassan, where you located at? Alabama. That's what's up. I've never heard of Enterprise though. What big city is that close to? Okay. What's the weather like right now? Feel like it still would be warm there, cause that's y'all you south, so it's probably still pretty warm. Okay, Vivi. Yeah, I mean, since with them Lightroom updates, you gotta go back, re-edit stuff just to see how quick you can do it. I'm telling you, man, like that Lightroom masking, man, it's the truth. Like it's the truth. Like it is a time saver. Cause I used to do all of that stuff with the brush tool, and I'd have to sit there and man, like that masking tool probably has cut my editing time at least in half. Cause like for a lot of stuff, I don't even take it into Photoshop. I just do quick uh, quick Lightroom edits. So those Lightroom masking, that stuff is legit. Like it at least cuts my time in half, if not more than that. So that's legit. That spot healing brush though, it still sucks. I don't know why they can't get that spot healing brush right. That spot healing brush is still trash, but that masking, legit. Uh, Hassan, that's an interesting question because the S-type bracket is a Bowings mount. So I don't know if maybe you mean like the Godox mount on like the 8300, but the S-type bracket typically is a Bowens mount. And then if I have a light like my 8400, well, technically it's a Godox mount, but it's got the adapter to make it a Bowens mount. Um, yeah, it doesn't bother me to use an S bracket, but I'm also not a photographer that really is pressed about like trying to minimalize my kit and have like the smallest form factor. Like I don't mind traveling with the S bracket, like it studio mounts with the metal mount or the S bracket. Yeah, I don't mind S brackets, and I use S brackets all the time because I shoot with 8200s. So I don't think I really have a preference. It just depends on what strobe I'm using. So if I'm using my 8200s, I'm using S brackets. If I use flash like speed lights, I'm using S brackets. If I use my 8400, that's just got the native Bowens mount, so I'm putting the modifier right on the 8400. But 95% of the time, yeah, I'm using S brackets, and they don't bother me. I don't mind traveling with S brackets. I'm not pressed by it. Like I don't need the smallest kit possible. Yeah, 8200 with a 36-inch softbox. That's my go-to for headshot stuff. Sometimes I'll use my 80B2 and use two 8400s if I'm outside. But yeah, 8200 with a 36-inch mod, money. Lumix X5 though, you do video or you do stills? Cause I don't know that I ever. If you do stills with that S5, I don't know that I've ever come across anybody that used the S5. Or maybe that's a Panasonic, right? Lumix S5 is a Panasonic, right? I'm thinking of the GH5. I know people use the GH5 for video. I don't really know anything about Panasonic cameras outside of the GH5. Yeah, Vivi, the thing is when you have a decent amount of images to edit, I can't be taking them into Photoshop. It's not worth the time. It's like if I'm taking something into Photoshop, uh, then it's like that's just I'm losing money. So it's not worth it because typically the stuff that I'm editing in Photoshop anyway, the client isn't even gonna know. Like they wouldn't even notice if I didn't do it. So I do some stuff just because ethical and moral reason. Like I need to deliver a solid product. I don't want to give someone something that I'm not happy with. But it's like there's boundaries though, because you could spend 2-3 hours editing one picture. I can't spend that kind of time. Yeah, that's interesting, Hassan. I've never heard anybody use a Panasonic for stills, so that's cool. I'll have to look into that. I mean, I'm not gonna switch, but I'm gonna have to look into that. Man, Vivi. So that's a great question. I don't fix flyaways. I don't believe in fixing. Like flyaways are a natural thing. Like they happen. Like nobody's hair is just if you're just out and about. Like if you're just doing an outdoor portrait session, like people's hair is not gonna be just like completely perfect and flat. Like I'm just not I'm not a fan of like getting rid of every flyaway. I just don't. I don't do it. There's no knock on photographers that do it. I don't. I don't believe that all that editing is necessary. Like we are human. Like things aren't perfect, and I don't feel like I need to try to make them perfect in an image. And I think, and this is kind of going into a tangent. I think at some point I'm gonna do a video on this, but like my issue with these things is that it sets this unrealistic precedence on what someone should look like or what is considered good in the terms of just like beauty and just pictures. Like clients expect photographers to do that because that's just the norm. Like that's what they see. So they want you to fix their flyaways. They want their hair or their skin to look perfect. They want you to slim them down. They want you to do all these things. And it's just like, that's not what you look like. Like I'm not about giving someone a picture of who they want to be. It's like I want to give someone a picture of who they are, and I want them to appreciate and like the picture because that's them. And I want them to like and love themselves. I don't want to deliver pictures that it's like, that's not you, that's not who you are. Like that's fake to me. But that's like the world that we live in right now, where everybody is doing all of this editing, and you got all these apps that's doing all this editing. So no one wants to put out a picture of just them and what they actually look like. They want all this stuff done first. And I just think that's a problem. So I try not to, like, I'm not like, I would like if makeup went away. Like I wish that we lived in a world, a society where like we didn't even use makeup. Like everybody was just natural in themselves, and like we were okay with that. But that's just, that's not the way it is. So it is what it is. So anyway, yeah, I don't spend a lot of time uh I don't spend a lot of time doing all that stuff. If they pay for it, they get what they want. Yeah, see, I don't even believe in that, because it's like if my clients want me to do all this work, then I don't take them as clients. It's like it's not about the money. Like I'm not just going to do something just because someone's paying me to do it. It's like, if you want me to edit this, do this, remove this, do all this stuff, I would say I'm not the photographer for you. I'm not taking your money. I don't. It's not to say that I don't edit pictures and I don't do retouching at times. Uh, I do, but um, yeah, I just don't. I don't get. Yeah, I saw the last line. You said I don't order people until they're unrecognizable. Yeah, but I mean, I don't. You fix flyaways. I don't, because we have flyaways. It's like I'm not. I just don't see the need to spend time trying to make everything look perfect in the image. That's just not who I am as a photographer, and I'm fine not having clients that want me to do that. It's like if that's what they want, then they can go to another photographer. Like that's just not the type of photographer that I am. Like I'm not going to spend all that time fixing that stuff to try to make people look perfect when they're not. I just don't believe in that. And I'm fine not taking their money. So it's like, there's there's people that'll do it. There's people that'll retouch them. It's like there's people for everybody. Um, yeah, I just draw the line. But like I said, I mean, that's not to say that I don't do some editing. Obviously, all my portrait stuff is not straight out of camera. So I mean, obviously, I try to minimize things to not make it be an unnecessary focal point. But flyaways, I just try. To be honest, I really try to get people to just make sure their stuff is legit before I take pictures. Like I try to be efficient. Like I don't want to spend any time editing, because the more I have to edit, that's just in the grand scheme of things, like that costs me more money. So if I can have people fix stuff on location, so like if I look and someone's hair is, which is, it would really only be an issue really for like headshots, like, or close ups. I haven't fixed that stuff right on location. It's like, here's what you look like. Are you cool with it? If you don't like your hair looking like this, fix it. Because I'm not gonna spend a bunch of time fixing it. So if you don't like it, fix it. There's too much cameras out there that people aren't taking photos seriously anymore. Free app spoils it too. I think I think it's segmented. I think you have people that would use an iPhone and they're fine with that. And that's cool. You know, it's like I'm obviously I wouldn't market to someone like that that thinks that iPhone pictures is all they need. It's like that's cool. Like if someone even asks me like headshot stuff, if I have a client that asks me, you know, well, why can't I just use my iPhone? My response every single time is, if you're asking that question, you're probably not going to hire me. It's like, you know, there's no point in me even trying to sell you on why you need to pay what I'm charging for a headshot if you're asking that question. It's like, if you already in your mind think that an iPhone photo would be good enough, then you're probably not going to hire me. And I would say, you know, most of the time they realize like, okay, and they actually do hire me anyway. But um, yeah, I just think that, you know, the people that just think that iPhones are enough, or you know that they don't need a professional photographer, that's fine. You know, there's still a market for professional photographers, because what you're hiring is the photographer. You the camera is irrelevant. You know, so I can give somebody a $10,000 setup and say, okay, here's this camera. You got the best camera. You got the best lenses. Here's some strobes. You got everything you need. Go shoot this wedding. They'll fall on their face. You know, even put the camera in auto. Like, okay, here you go. Just hit the shutter button. Those pictures will still be trash, because there's so much more to photography than the camera. The camera is the tool, but just having the tool doesn't really mean much. So for the people that downplay professional photographers, that's fine. You know, they're not who a professional photographer would market to. Yeah, we could Hassan, we can blame the Kardashians for that. I think the Kardashians were man, probably like the catalyst of now there's always been like retouching in beauty stuff. Like retouching's been around for a long time, but uh I feel like we could blame the Kardashians for like this push to want to be perfect. Like when people started seeing the changes that they were making to themselves, then people just wanted that look or whatever, and then it just kind of blew up from there. So it is what it is. I definitely don't like it as a photographer, and as a human being. I hate it. I don't like where we are with, and I think being a photographer makes it worse, because especially like when young girls, like when they're looking at this Instagram stuff and they want to look like that, or they're looking at a picture in a magazine and they want to look like that. As a photographer, I know that it's like the person doesn't even look like that. Like that's all done in the computer and lighting. So it just hurts my soul that it's like, you know, that's what young women are aspiring to be. They want to have this look because that's what's deemed acceptable, but people don't look like that. So it's like on Instagram, everybody's happy. Everybody's perfect. Everyone's life is perfect. Everybody looks perfect on Instagram, but then in real life, people are miserable. Yeah, Vivi, that was the worst thing that came with these apps or the software that can do that sky replacement. Everybody's too lazy to actually go out and take their own pictures of skies so they could at least have unique skies. No, everybody's just using the stock skies that come with the software, and it's just like, yeah, I've seen that sky before. Imagine that. But that's good for photographers that want to put in the work, because you know everyone will start doing what's easy, so everyone's stuff will look the same. So it's not that hard for photographers that just want to put in a little bit of work. It's not that hard for them to stand out, because there's so many photographers that are too lazy and they just go, you know, get stock stuff or you know whatever, where it's like if you just put in a little bit of effort and do your own thing, you stick out. So it's good for us photographers that don't mind working. Yep, it's very true, Hassan. Very true. Because it's just, you know, it's too easy to live in an alternate world these days. You can be whoever you want to be now. Because Instagram, that's life. So whatever you look like on Instagram and TikTok, that's real life. At least that's what people think. Dream client from history, man. That's a tough question, bro. I honestly, I don't even think I can answer that question. Yeah, I don't know that I could answer that. Like, I just enjoy regular people. I don't. Yeah, that's a hard one to answer. I don't. You know, it's like it's interesting because like a lot of people like whatever field they're in, like for photography or whatever, like they have like you know people that you know inspired them or people's work that they follow that they look up to or they have like their favorite photographers or you know stuff like that. I don't. I don't have that. You know, it's like I don't. There's no, you know, old school famous photographers or just photographers just from the past that I follow. Like I've had cameras in my hand since I was a kid. Like I've just always loved photography. And then when I bought my first DSLR, I literally used YouTube to learn everything about it, to like learn photography. Like I didn't follow any photographers, I didn't go to school for it. I literally just watched YouTube and then I went out and did this stuff. So it's like, you know, when people are just like, you know, who inspires you as a photographer? Or where's your inspiration come from? Or, you know, what photographers of the past do you admire? Do you, you know, love their work? I can never answer that question because I honestly don't, there isn't anybody that I follow that I like. I don't want to say like I don't care about any of the other photographers, but it's just like I just do my thing when it comes to photography. Like I don't really and you know maybe I could be inspired you know if I looked at someone else's work, but it's just never been anything that I've done. I don't really follow people like that. I don't have photographers from the past that I could say yeah they're my favorite. The history of photography, like I don't none of that. I really don't have any of that. I just like taking pictures. Like that's what I know. Like I enjoy having a camera in my hand. I enjoy taking pictures. And it's like, you know, I try to find inspiration from everyday life really cuz I'm not like very creative. Like sometimes I'll see stuff either like on social media or on someone's, you know, photographer's website or just somewhere. I'll see something and I'm like, wow, like that is hella creative. I'm not creative. Like some there's just things that I see where I'm just like I would just never even think to even be able to come up with that. So I'm not very creative. So I do, you know, try to find inspiration just in everyday life or you know if I have like a concept or a vision in mind, I'll do some Pinterest looking just to get some ideas and then I try to build off of that. But uh so my first camera, well I don't know what my like my very first camera was cuz I was a kid. Um but like my first DSLR camera was a Canon T4i, which I still have. And I bought that in 2012, I believe. So now I shoot with an R5 now. Uh, the emotion and responsibility of his time clearly shows on his face. Who are you talking about, Hassan? I don't. Maybe I missed. I might have missed a comment, but yeah. These days, man, I'm big OCF these days. Like natural light is cool, and I mean you could still shape natural light. Um, so when people will say like natural light can be flat, it can be, but you just have to know how to shape it. Like natural light still has a direction. Like the light source is still coming from somewhere, so it still can be directional. Um, so I like the ease of natural light. I like the portability of natural light because especially when you're on location, setting up strobes and all that stuff, it's a hassle. And then I'm pretty mobile, especially when I'm doing like portraits, especially like engagements, family, that sort of thing. I'm mobile, so you're constantly moving. So it's like when you have strobes, it's just more work of just, and sometimes it really can affect the flow of the session because if every time, if something's happening and you want to move, but you got to pause because you got to go move all your gear, that can really mess up the flow. So I typically, especially for like family stuff, I would almost always do natural light because you don't have the time to really set up flash and move it, especially if kids are involved. If it's like portrait, couples, like engagement, senior, those sort of things, I'll definitely do a mix. I'll do more flash than natural light just because I like being able to control the light. See, the thing about natural light is that yeah, you can shape it, but you're limited to the light and the direction that's available. So you have to work with that one situation, that one scenario. So if your background doesn't work where the light is best, you're screwed. You still have to go there because light first. You got to find the good light and then work with everything else after that. So using OCF gives you the best of both worlds. You get that great quality of light, you get that directional light, but you can put that light wherever you want it and compose your scene and your shot however you want and then still have that great light. So that's where, the people that are just like, I'm a natural light photographer, I just think that's a disservice to clients because sometimes where that light is, it doesn't yield the best photo. So it's like if you simply chase the light, then there's other components of your image that will suffer. But I definitely understand that it's like using flash when you're mobile, it's a pain sometimes. So it is easier to do natty light. For events, man, I almost do events. Well, since I'm in SoCal, like most events are outdoors, so I do natural light. Like before the pandemic, I did a lot of event stuff, and I did all natural light. Like I'm not gonna worry about doing flash for event stuff. I'm just not. Now, if it's indoors, if it's indoors, it gets a little tricky because the thing about events is that you're not. First of all, you can't control the people. It's like if you're doing an event, depending on what kind of event it is, people are where they are, and you're moving around to capture stuff. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, if it's an indoor event, the last thing I want to do is be flashing light the entire event. It's like when you're at like a wedding reception or something like that, they're expecting that. So it's not a problem. But if you're at some sort of corporate event or something like that, like you can't mess up the ambiance of the event. So that's where you just got to push your settings. You got to push your ISO and don't be afraid of having noise because trust me, the client's not going to care. They're not going to get that and be like, wow, this looks really noisy. It's like, no, they're going to get it. They're going to see that you edited it well. They're going to see that you captured a great moment, and they're going to love the image. So you just got to push the ISO, So it just depends. You just have to assess the situation. And it's just like, you know, is it like if you were shooting a wedding ceremony, like you wouldn't want to just be popping flash because that's distracting, you know. And it's like the people that are there don't want to have to see burst of light throughout the whole thing. Yeah, see, Hassan, birthday parties are different. You know, it would depend on the client. I typically err on the side of not using flash if it's not for like portrait stuff though, because I just don't want the hassle of it personally. But you know, for a birthday party, that's such a relaxed situation that I mean, you could use flash and it probably would be okay. Um, but the problem is the problem with using flash for something like that, again, when you're doing events, you have to be mobile. Like you cannot restrict yourself to sticking to where your light is at, and you're not going to be able to just have your camera and carry your light with you everywhere you want to go so that you always have your light. That's just not practical. So typically, if you're going to use flash in an event situation, depending on how big the space is, you typically are going to set something like speed lights up in certain places and bounce is really what you want to do. So essentially what you're just trying to do is light the whole scene. You're trying to raise the ambient in essence by just lighting the whole space by bouncing light. But if the space is big, if the walls are not neutral, if the ceilings are too high, then that's not easy. You definitely could set up speed lights with white reflectors and literally bounce the light into the reflector. So you can strategically place those, have, you know, one in every corner so that it just kicks light out. So there's options, but you know, still the thing with doing that is just that it can interfere with people's experience. So you always have to think about the people who are attending the event. You have to think about them first. And it's like, even if you're hired to get images, you really have to think about the people that are there, because if you ruin the experience for the people who are at the event, number one, like you ruin their experience at the event, but number two, you kind of kill any potential business that you could have had from one of those attendees. And when you do event stuff, that's really, I'm definitely not saying like that's the focus and priority, but when you do event stuff, like the hope is that, okay, you have this client that's paying you to be there, but you hope to be able to get more business, not from soliciting it, but just from doing such a good job at the event. And then when people see the images, they're just like, yeah, these look great. I'm going to hire him because he was great or she was great. So you really have to think about the people that are there first and make sure that whatever it is you're doing, you're not ruining their time, because they didn't ask you to be there. Like they showed up for the event and they want to be able to enjoy the event and have a good time at the event. You don't want to be the person that steals that from them. So if it makes sense to have flash, and depending on what's going on, it makes sense to have it, you can have it, but I typically try to err on the side of not doing flash indoors if I can get away with it. If it's really, really, really dark, I may, but yeah, just, you know, I try not to use flash if I can avoid it. Does anybody have any weekend plans? I'm going to Vivi, you might know where this is, but I'm going to a place called Mount Baldy tomorrow. So every year they have this Heroes Project, this annual climb of Mount Baldy fundraiser to support wounded veterans. Um, and so I am going with another photographer, and we are going to take a ski lift up to the top and get some pictures. So it should be pretty nice because I mean, it's supposed to be cool. I think it's supposed to be like in the 40s probably. So should be pretty clear up there. I may go live. I may go live when I'm there. If I don't go live, I'm at least try to get some video footage to make a video out of it. But I might go live just to take whoever wants to join in, take them up there with me. So we'll see. I don't know. I may not get reception there, so I don't know. I may not be able to go live, but I'm definitely going to do some GoPro and get some video footage of it though. Vivi, I would almost say that percentage is even higher. You know, people definitely look at work and they're like, yeah, these pictures look good, but yeah, well, you know what? I guess I would say this: your repeat business is probably like 90% experience, 10% photos. Like if you give your clients an amazing experience, even if you delivered mediocre pictures, they will probably still hire you again. Because if they have a good time, or you know, if you're shooting a family session and they're like, you know, my kid never smiles for pictures, and you were able to get him to smile for, like, even if the pictures weren't that great based off of your standard, they would still hire you again because they would remember that you were the photographer that was finally able to get their kid to smile in a picture, you know. So I definitely think like that repeat business comes from the experience. That initial business is probably more your work, obviously, because they don't know what the experience is going to be like. But if you're in business and you do photography full time, really the most important thing is your repeat business. You know, it's not hard to get someone to hire you once. I mean, that's pretty easy. If someone needs pictures taken and your work is decent, they may hire you. That's easy. As photographers, as a full-time photographer, I don't really care about the new clients. Like, obviously I have to get new clients, but what's most important is repeat clients. Because number one, once you establish repeat clients, then it's not guaranteed income, but you don't have to do work for them. You know, it's like every time they have a milestone of some sort, a kid, any kind of event, whatever, they're likely going to hire you. But where repeat business is the most beneficial is repeat businesses will advocate for you the hardest for people that they know. It's like if there's someone that hired you once and then they hire you again and they hire you again, they will push for you so hard for anybody else that is looking for photography services. So it's like you can't beat having that marketing person on your team, essentially. And that's what you get from repeat business, you know? So it's like word of mouth doesn't get any better than your repeat clients that are coming to you over and over again. They'll advocate for you. So that's what I strive to have. It's like when I think about and I implement everything about my photography workflow, my photography business, I am always thinking about how can I make the experience good to the point where someone will hire me again? Because that says the most, is that someone would hire you again. It's like if you go to a restaurant and the food is trash, you may go back a second time if you're the type of person that is just like, well, let me try it twice, and then if it's terrible both times. But point being, whether you go that one time or you go that second time just to make sure, if you go and the food is trash, you won't go back, and you will not recommend that place to anybody else. And if anybody else even brings that place up, you're going to be like, don't go there. The food is trash. I'm telling you, it's trash. So, as an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. Like, you don't want people to have a bad experience with you and then never want to come back and never want to refer you. Like, you want to get as many people on your marketing team as possible. So I'm always thinking about the experience. It's the experience first. You know, as a photographer, you have trust and faith in your skill as a photographer. So you know that you're going to be able to get solid images. You don't really have to think about that. Like, you get to a point as a photographer where you know your gear, you know what you're doing. So you know, like, the image part of it, you got that down. So you don't really have to focus on that. You really have to focus on, how can I provide the best experience for my client? And when you have experience first, and that's your priority, then really what that does for you is it sets you apart from other photographers, because photography is a saturated market. So if your work is good and another photographer's work is good, and the reality is a lot of photographers have great work, there's a lot of photographers whose work is way better than mine. How can you still get clients? How can you still set yourself apart? And you do that by the experience. There could be a photographer that is better at you at taking pictures and creating images, but you provide a much more rock solid experience. You can still get clients from that photographer because the experience means a lot. Like, how people feel, emotions are huge. Like, you can't beat like someone's emotions. So if you can get them on an emotional level in terms of just the experience, you got them, and they'll spend more money with you. You know, if I provide a great experience, and when it comes time to purchase images, they can reflect on that experience and how good of a time they had, then their mindset, they'll spend more money, they'll buy more images, just because now they can connect the images to the experience, and it's just a well-rounded overall time for them. That's not the best way to say it, but you get what I'm trying to say. Oh, you get to babysit. That's fun. Vivi, is it going to be warm up that way this weekend? Because we're having a warm spell this weekend, which I'm not happy about. But yeah, it's supposed to be pushing 90 here tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. It's humid down there in Alabama, though. Yeah. Up to 70. Yeah. See, I'm loving the 70s. That's what it's been for the past couple weeks, and then we just got this heat spell this week. So it was like 85 today, 90 tomorrow and Sunday. It's supposed to drop back down next week though, which is nice because I don't want to have to turn my AC on. Better than the snow coming on Sunday. It's too early for snow. Like, man, it's November. That's too early. But see, that's like that Michigan and Chicago stuff. Like, man, I don't want no snow in November. I mean, obviously, I'm not getting any snow. But like when I lived in the Midwest, it's like if it snowed before December, I wasn't happy. It's like once it hits December, okay, we can get some flurries. And then once it hits January, it's like, okay, it could snow in January and February. Don't give me no snow in November. That's too early. It's still fall time in November. Like, I don't want no snow in November. I don't like that. But I do miss the snow. I definitely would say that I miss the snow. And I mean, I could drive up to the snow. I could drive up into the mountains and get to the snow, but it's not the same thing. It's, you know, it's like I miss, you know, just looking out the window and it's snowing and go out and use the snow blower and all that. Yeah, I remember when I lived in the Midwest, it sucked because, you know, sometimes like the snow would come early, and then you would get you know, wintertime, and springtime would come and it would rain a ton. So you would get a lot of rain in the springtime. Then the summertime would come and it would be hot, humid, raining and storming all the time. Then fall time would come, and then winter would encroach on fall. So you'd have like a month where it was like great weather, and then it'd get cold and all that stuff. Yeah, just if there was a place where the seasons were the seasons when they were supposed to be, that'd be cool. But when do women put away their bikinis in LA? Never. Now even you go to the beach in the wintertime, and I mean it gets chilly here in the winter, especially at the coast there. Um, you know, it could only be 60. There still be people out on at the beach in they bikinis and swim trunks and stuff. I don't know how they do it because the water is cold already. Like the water is cold still even in the summertime. But there be people out there though. Those native Californians, man, they 50 is good enough for them, I guess. We have two seasons here, summer and semi-winter. Yeah. That's not bad. I you know, that's that's like LA really, you know. It's like summer, 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 and then the winter time is, you know, it's 60 during the day, 40s at night, maybe. Yeah, not never doesn't really dip too far below that. So yeah, you know, it's like same thing. Vivi, I'll be in Berlin next year. Is that where you lived at when you were in Germany? In Berlin? Yeah, Ryan. I've been doing some stuff on the computer, so I just went live on my phone just cause. Oh man, yeah, Hassan, you can keep that, bro. You can keep that. That was what I hated most about the Midwest was the humidity and the storms. Yeah, I remember, man, when I went to Florida for the first time. I don't remember how old I was, but we went to Orlando, and I remember it would rain every day, but it would rain just enough to raise the humidity like crazy and get it hella humid and hella hot, and then the sun would come back out. So you know, you would think like, oh yeah, it's gonna rain and cool things down. Nah, it rained just to make it miserable. So it would be so humid. It's like you would take a shower and then you would step outside and it would feel like you just got out the shower again. Like that's how much you were sweating and how wet you were. It sucked. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad in Ohio. It definitely was humid, but nothing like the down south humidity and stuff. That's it, Hassan. Rain just enough to piss you off. Man, that's legit, Vivi. Man, last time I looked at tickets, they were not bad at all. So probably can find something decent, especially if you plan going out far. Ryan, what was the weather like today? It was hot here. 41. I thought you was gonna say one. I wasn't expecting you to say 41. That's not bad. Hey, man, JJ, cool, man. I met up with him. We met up at Roscoe's. He a cool dude. Nah, cause I didn't have time, man. I met him there straight from helping my brother there with some low voltage work, and I came from Pasadena. It took me a while to get there, and then he had to go to Sammy's to pick up some stuff, and then he had a sunset shoot in Santa Monica. But yeah, I couldn't make it. It'd have been cool to shoot with him though, but yeah, I couldn't make that. And then tomorrow he's doing some shooting tomorrow, which would have been cool to link up with him. But I'm going to Mount Baldy to do some photography stuff. So man, Ryan, we had I don't know what they look like on his phone, but we had one of the workers there take a picture, and she took the picture and she was like, "Oh, this is good. This is so good." I don't know what his looked like on his phone, but on my phone, I should have looked at it. I should have looked at it before we left because it was way too wide. She was too far back, and the lighting was terrible. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'll drop it in there, Ryan. Yeah, he's taller than I thought though. He was walking up. I was like, damn, he make me look small, man. Yeah, 20. I have a 24 to 105 f4 sign. I got man, the original Canon one. That thing it needs some service work, but yeah, no, I like my 24 to 105. It's a real good walk around lens. Yeah, Ryan, man, man, I don't know if I thought he was short, but I mean, he's got to be like 6'3". Yeah, he's probably like 6'3". So he walked up, and I'm like, oh yeah, you bigger than I thought. I mean, you make me look small. But he definitely got a lot of gear though. Yeah, he's got a lot of gear, a lot of gear. But yeah, I'm gonna link up with him in Phoenix, real soon, and just he has a studio there, so I'm gonna link up with him in Phoenix and do some stuff. He was asking if I had some models for him to do a sunset shoot, and I'm like, man, the struggle is real here trying to get models. I was like, first of all, to even get a model to even hit you back is a struggle. Then to get the model to commit is a struggle, and then to get them to actually show up. I was like, nah. I was like, stick to your Phoenix models, bro. I was like, these LA girls, man. Vivi, that's funny. Ryan, you want to know a crazy thing, man? I was man, I think I was 14 the first time I heard that. I didn't even know who it was. There's a guy named Alan Compton, that told me that, and I was like, I don't even. And this, you know, this is before the internet was a big thing, so I couldn't just grab my phone and Google. So when I finally looked it up, I was like, I've never seen it. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've heard that, Ryan. Like just over the course of my life, man, hundreds of times probably, bro. Yeah, I'm about to have to get off here and do some Ryan, you a fool. You said squish the eyes, bro. You a fool. Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. Squinch the eyes. That's funny. Yeah, it's 6:30. It's about that dinner time. My girl's in the room. She could have came out here, but I better go rescue her from the room. So yeah, I appreciate you guys just hanging out with me. It was cool to just talk to somebody while I was doing this work. So like I said, I might go live tomorrow when I go to Mount Baldy, but I don't know. It'll be early. Well, early my time. Not if you East Coast or something like that. But yeah, I might go live if I have service. I don't know. Maybe not though. But I'll make a video out of it. So you guys have a great weekend. It was cool kicking with you guys. I will. If nothing else, I'll see you next Friday.